Hello my friends, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another Brotato class guide. Today we are doing the Jack. Shout out to channel viewer ALECR, I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that, but who requested that I do the Jack. If there is a character that you would like to see me cover, just let me know, I'm very open to suggestions. So the Jack is a pretty cool character because you get... It really is just all about dodging and about DPSing down small numbers of very elite enemies. You get plus 75% damage against bosses and elites, and triple material dropped from enemies. But you only have 1/4 the enemies that spawn, so you actually end up a little behind on economy compared to other characters, because your economy is multiplied by 3, but your enemies are multiplied by 25%. You have plus 250% enemy health, and plus 50% damage. And also there's a hidden, for some reason it's not on this character sheet, but there's a hidden passive that the Jack has, which is that you never get horde waves. You always get 3 elite waves when you're playing the Jack. Elites are going to be the most dangerous thing that we face, so it's nice that we have the bonus damage, but the bonus damage does not make up for how much additional health they have. The Jack has a couple cool things that you can do with it. So one, we get to use a couple weapons that are really normally very bad because the enemies are so few but so powerful. You may not know that 2 of the worst weapons in the game are actually the 2 highest DPS weapons in the game. So that's the laser gun and the revolver. For the Jack, I'm going to go with the revolver because even though it's slightly lower total DPS than the laser gun, I like being able to kill multiple enemies with it just a little bit better. The laser gun I find still has overkill problems even with the Jack having such increased enemy health. So we're going to grab the revolver and we're going to go in to the Jack. So normally these guys have 4 health, wave 1. This wave they will have 12. Or, no, 14. Because of the plus 250%. So we do still one-shot them. Let me actually pick up these materials. And we are going to increase our harvesting. Like I said, our economy is slightly worse than other characters, so we really do want to get our harvesting rolling as soon as we can. Let's roll again. I will buy fertilizer. It's the only thing I would buy that isn't a revolver, basically. And we're going to roll again. I'm going to lock the coupon and roll. Really getting very unlucky on finding revolvers, but I will lock the ugly tooth. This is going to be pretty important because there's few enemies, but slowing them down is going to be really nice for us. Not finding a second weapon there is very unlucky, so I'm just going to be running around clearing this wave. You may have noticed me holding still there. That's because I was recording a streamer guide before this. Got used to holding still. Alright, I'm going to again increase my harvesting. We've actually got pretty good harvesting going here, and let's roll for more revolvers if we can find them. Alright, that's a little better. We're up to 4. So normally the revolver is bad because during the long cooldown period, additional enemies can kind of sneak up on you. But because we don't really care about additional enemies, since there are so few enemies because we're playing the Jack, we can afford to take something like this. We're going to grab attack speed. That's generally better than percent damage in terms of how it increases your overall damage. And I'll continue to increase my harvesting because getting that to 40 means it'll start ticking up by 2 every wave if we can get that. Here, I'll grab the coupon, we'll grab the revolver and the ugly tooth, and I'm going to roll past the weird ghost here so that I can get the revolver. Lock in this weird food, and I'm going to roll one more time. So I'm actually going to lock the lumberjack shirt and the hedgehog. And the reason that lumberjack shirt is so good on this character is that the trees also get the tripled enemy health. Tripled and a bit enemy health. So lumberjack shirt means that you're not wasting shots on these super high health trees. So That's an item I like on most characters, but is really important, I think, for the Jack, because you really want to spend all of your shots on actual enemies. So the basic strategy for the Jack is we are just going to be building only damage. We're getting our harvesting going, and then we're just buying only damage, and we're relying on our dodging to keep us alive. Harvesting up to 35, so we're almost at the 40 mark. So I'm just buying anything that contains damage. I will buy this lemonade. Consumable healing is still just a really good thing to have, and we'll lock in this revolver. I'm not going to lock the compass, although I would probably buy it. Because basically how we're going to need to win these waves is by killing the elite almost instantly before it can really force us to dodge around, and we're never going to be able to build the defensive stats, at least not for the like wave 11 elites, that would keep us alive against the damage incoming. So the only thing that we can do as the Jack is try to burst everything down before it reaches us. I think this is probably where people end up having some trouble with this character, is trying to build it in such a way that they can survive the incoming damage, when the right thing to do is just try to kill everything immediately. I will take 6 max HP here, though. That's a pretty efficient way to get that. We'll grab this ranged damage, more trees. So even mutation is normally a very bad item. I'm considering it here, but I think we're going to pass on it. I won't grab the bat either, because we're trying to get our harvesting up to the 40 mark. And here, even though it does decrease our damage, because it will take our harvesting over the threshold, I am going to pick up that Peaceful Bee, and then I'm going to combine some revolvers and buy this one, lock the little one. Notice how much easier it is for us to kill trees because we have the lumberjack shirt, so we're no longer spending like an entire volley of shots on the trees. I've even spent a little more on non-damage stuff than I like for this character, just because we were able to get to 40 harvesting very early, which I think is worth doing anyways. You could, of course, just buy pure damage and be very happy. Here, I will take this cake just because it's free. Again, though, I'm looking for things that produce damage. We'll take 10% attack speed. That's great. I'm going to level up my weapons, take Gentle Alien. Gentle Alien, particularly good on this character because every new enemy is worth 3 times as much materials. And we will take the head injury and the tree. And I'll lock the leather vest. I'm going to buy that even though we just want damage, but I might wait a couple waves to do so. I should be trying to avoid killing the eggs, because we should at this point have the damage to clear the large hatched aliens, and they're worth more money, because that money is tripled when we kill this guy. We get him dropping 9 materials, which is obviously an enormous amount from a single enemy. So even though it takes us a few shots to clear them, still really good to do that. Because I have a bunch of extra trees, it's also probably, and some material healing, it's probably worth it to me to increase my luck as well. Yeah, we'll take this for free. And here I am going to look at what my damage is. We're going to take the flat damage as the one that increases our damage the most. Grab the leather vest. I'm considering the compass. Our speed is negative, so I think I should buy the compass here. And overall, I prefer HP regeneration to lifesteal on this character, but I don't really need to buy either at this point. Adrenaline is pretty interesting, though. Our dodge is quite low, so I think I'm going to avoid it and just look for something that increases my overall damage. What's our consumable heal at? +3? For 30, I'm considering the lemonade, but I think I am going to pass on it. On the other hand, I'll I'm sort of priced into buying weird food. It's just such an efficient item. Definitely feeling like our damage is lagging behind a bit here. But with a couple extra tree spawns, and trees are not decreased by the fewer enemy spawns, so that's a really good way, but also don't have the extra material multiplier. But that's still a good way to generate some additional materials. One thing this character really has trouble with is killing loot aliens, because their health is multiplied. Oh, it took a big hit there, but that's alright. We're just gonna zip around and pick up some extra materials, and then we can go get these consumables to bring us back up to full health. Really feeling the pain on my damage, of course. Missile is good when taken for free, less good when you have to buy it, because minus attack speed is a pretty big penalty. Plus attack speed, on the other hand, a pretty big advantage. And 3 armor is probably too good to pass up there. So we'll combine, grab another revolver, grab this weird food, and roll. Nice, we get a level 3 revolver. So we'll grab that as well. I'm going to take this Terrified Onion, just because speed will help us dodge this elite when we get to it. And here I'm going to grab another Gentle Alien, and I'm going to lock in the Fin. Again, Fin is just too good an item to pass up, even though it doesn't directly increase our damage. So I know I said I'm only going to buy stuff that increases our damage. I've been a little lax on that for this character build, just because we've gotten so many really efficient items. But overall, the strategy for this character is just build damage. It's easier, of course, also to not get hit on this character, because there's so many fewer enemies. Although we also have 2 Gentle Aliens in this build, so we're seeing a few more enemies. Gentle Alien, still just really good for this character, though, as it is for everybody. And this is a great wave for us because it's a horde wave, or, you know, it's a wave of a horde of enemies, and you can generate a ton of income from that because our income is tripled. Gonna roll past this stuff, and yeah, I'll just grab some more % damage. That's fine. Here I'm gonna actually, do I want to start increasing my crit chance? I think it's probably worth it to start boosting crit chance at this point. We're gonna get this Fin. Our negative luck is actually pretty funny. I'm not too worried about that, though. Gonna roll past all of this right now. Armor is good, but I really just want to increase my damage before the elite wave. This will do it, just getting some upgraded weapons. Broken Mouth, again, just a little bit too efficient to pass up on, though, I think. Let's keep rolling. And here I am going to combine, buy another revolver. I'll throw in one more roll, although these rerolls are getting pretty expensive. Minus range damage for HP and regeneration, a little bit rough to buy, so I'm not going to do that. We're going to buy the weird food, and then I'm going to stop rerolling just because rerolling for 33 is so expensive here. Damage is looking okay at this point. I'd really like to be taking out those guys in only a single wave of shots rather than like a wave and a half of shots, like a volley and a half. But overall, our income is pretty good, and our damage has caught up a little bit just because I managed to find a couple more damage items. One thing to really be careful about avoiding on this character is stepping on any of the red X's. If you stand on the red X, that enemy won't spawn, and because enemies are worth triple, materials for this character, that can really be a huge percentage of your income for that wave. Let's grab this attack speed, and here I'm going to grab this damage. So that was a great set of level up shops. For wave 11, we can buy the leather vest and buy the blindfold. Now our dodge is actually at 10%. Not terrible, but not amazing. I can actually increase my dodge with the gambling token. Again, I'd really like damage. I'm going to lock this lure and not grab it because we have an elite to fight, but I'll buy it next wave. Let's keep rolling just a little bit, see if there's anything we can get that increases our damage. Oh no, it's math time. Will the minus 5% items price allow us to buy this revolver? It will not, I don't believe. So let's combine, buy the revolver because we want to increase our damage, and lock the coupon. Alright, so we have 6 level 3 revolvers. That's pretty good. This is one of the highest DPS setups that we could possibly have. With only plus 6 ranged damage, though, we're going to have to see. We'll see what elite this is as well. This, I would say, is one of the harder ones to get, because it's a very high health elite, and it has a very difficult to dodge second phase, because it spawns stuff right under you. And because it's wave 11, we're actually on a wave where it is very difficult to clear all the enemies, because it spawns these high health enemies. So we're probably just dodging for the rest of the wave. We're not going to be able to actually hit the elite because it's summoning that horde of little guys. And the big guys are tanking for it. Any elite that summons enemies is going to be super difficult for this character, because all the summons, of course, have the multiplied health. Not even going to really try to get that. Loot alien. So, which elite you get matters a lot for this character as to whether you're going to be able to actually kill it. So, pretty bad wave for us. We didn't get much money because we weren't able to go pick up stuff, and we weren't able to kill the elite. On the other hand, another weird food, our consumable heal is really high. That's kind of fun. Let me grab all of these things, although I can't afford them all, but we can take Poisonous Tonic and we can take Lure. And do I want to lock the alien magic? Continuing to reduce our luck, it actually has some advantages. So with really high negative luck, you get lots of level 1 items in the shop, and level 1 items are generally the best items. They're just like the most efficient to buy. For plus 8 max HP, which we do want to start increasing, our HP regeneration is not going to be a huge factor in our healing at this point. I would buy it. I don't think I'm going to lock it, though. Let's just go on to the next wave. Unlike most characters, the easiest elite for the Jack is probably the Crocodile, because it has a relatively easy to dodge pattern if you're a ranged character, and it doesn't summon anything. The Crocodile is really, really difficult for melee characters, much harder than just about any other character, or any other elite. But because all the summoners are basically impossible for this class, the ones that don't summon are what you want to see. Getting a little overwhelmed here because my damage is not quite keeping up to the wave. Also, trying to make sure I'm clearing these trees. We actually have so many increased trees that it's hard to get them all. Alloy, we did want to increase our dodge, but Alloy for 3 range damage and 5% crit chance, huge boost. And even though I mentioned that negative luck does have some advantages, we still want to try to increase that, especially because our consumable healing is so high. Here I am going to just grab 3 armor, I think. Our speed is really good, and while I'd love to get 8% damage, I'm more interested in the level 3 upgrade, and here I'll grab 10% attack speed. Let's combine and get another revolver. Then we'll get some more things that increase our damage. Roll again. Banner is interesting for this character as well. We do just want the attack speed. Range, not terrible for us, although we don't actually have anything that decreases our range. Many times this character is going to end up with range decreasing items. But I'll buy the banner just because attack speed is always good to raise. And here I'm going to lock the gambling token. We're getting to the point where we can start increasing our dodge and get dodge capped soon, so I'd love to actually take advantage of that, and we'll grab this revolver as well. For this next wave, I'd like to have about 80 HP if possible to try to keep myself from just getting 1 or 2 shot by the elite. But again, the most important thing is just going to be to make sure my damage is keeping up with the wave. The alloy helped a lot with that. As you can see, we're not like struggling to clear the enemies that much anymore. Tanked that hit there. Our armor is actually pretty good, especially for the Jack, who usually doesn't build much armor. So we're actually taking reduced damage compared to what you would kind of expect to be taking at this point. Pretty decent income, though. XP gain in exchange for minus range. Our range is very positive, so I'm going to take that, and we'll take 8% damage here. Here I'm going to take a couple dodge items. Even though Peaceful Bee decreases our damage, it is going to get our dodge towards the cap a little faster. And here we're going to grab this revolver and the cake. I'm going to roll past all that stuff. Lucky Charm will get our luck into the positives, which is pretty nice, so we can buy these two and not throw in one more reroll or anything like that. Our dodge at 23% means I can probably get it to 30% before the next elite, which will actually be a meaningful amount. This is one of the hardest waves for this character because it spawns these guys, the drooly enemies, and they still produce 3 of the little guys, and all 3 of those little guys have plus 50% health and plus 50% damage. So it can be really difficult to clear all the summons. Any enemies that summon stuff, as you saw with that elite, are really dangerous for this character. I think it's easier to use revolvers on this character than to use laser guns, although I have seen laser guns suggested a lot as well. Just because you get into scenarios like this where you really want to be hitting multiple enemies. Even though there's many fewer enemies to generate bullets with the baby with a beard, I think it is still a really good item for us. It's going to help us clear through elites that summon. It's going to help us clear through waves like that one with a lot of summons, so I think it's really good. And I'm actually going to take 3 armor here. It's at the point in the game where I'd like to start increasing my defensive stats. We're no longer just a pure damage build. So we can grab that. We're going to combine and buy a revolver, and I guess combine, buy a revolver, buy a tree. I'm not going to buy the little frog, even though harvesting is a major component of our income, because I really would like to get my dodge going. Let's get this revolver. 8 HP regeneration to cap my speed. I think that HP regeneration is just not going to end up being a major healing method for us. Our consumable heal is going to carry us, so we're not going to worry about that. I'll buy the missile, though, because it will overall slightly increase my damage. I'm going to lock in community support. Worse for this character than for other characters, because it's based on the number of enemies on the field, but still a very efficient way to buy attack speed. Even if it's giving you 15 or 20 attack speed, it's a huge bonus. And again, it decreases our damage, but Peaceful Bee still really good, and we'd like to increase our dodge. Alright, let's see what elite we get here. Can we kill it? Alright, it's the Crocodile Man, so we want to kind of move in this little spiral around it. Just move in a very small, very, very small spiral, and this is how you defeat the crocodile. Lots of enemies on the field there, so we were starting to get a little overwhelmed because my damage wasn't quite high enough to clear it super quickly, but we were able to get it. Like I said, crocodile, easiest elite for this character. I actually taking more damage after it died just because so many of these little shooty aliens spawned. This wave has so many of the guys that summon those. Baby with a beard doing a lot of work here. Let's make sure to clear those trees before the end of the wave. Alright, robot arm. Not the best thing that we could have gotten, but we'll take 6 armor. It's still really nice to get that. And I can actually start building my crit chance to a pretty reasonable value now. At 30%, it's going to increase our damage by a lot. Community support for sure. Luck and dodge, great. We'll roll again and roll one more time, see if there's anything we want to lock. There is. We'll get metal. Because it's even more important to do damage at the beginning of the wave for this character than for every other character. So wisdom is even worse on this character than it is on other characters, and I think wisdom is generally a pretty bad item regardless. Because if the enemies ever start stacking up, it can be really hard to start clearing the waves, as you saw in that last wave where just spending all my damage on the elite at the beginning of the wave prevented me from keeping the enemies from building up. Made it really hard for me to finish the end of the wave without taking any damage. At this point, max HP is one of our biggest limiting factors. Obviously, we'd love to increase our dodge to the cap. Our armor's really good, and our damage is okay, but, you know, more damage is... It goes without saying that more damage is, for almost every character, the most important thing you could have. Again, notice the enemies are starting to build up a little bit, so it's hard for me to pick up all the materials, but we still got them. Let's grab this missile, and... Also worth noting, I guess, that as enemies build up for us because we have community support, we do actually increase our damage. Let's grab this percentage damage. Blood donation, we just don't have the healing to support, and it's a little too late for the harvesting to be particularly good, so let's roll past that. We'll roll to here. Minigun, actually one of the worst items in the game for this character, I would say. Given that our flat range damage is not that high, the minigun is going to be doing pretty low DPS, so you usually want to avoid it. That being said, let me just quickly do the math. So this does 8 times 20 per second, roughly speaking. And our level 3 revolver does 72 times 4 per second. So 8 times 20 is 160. 74 times 4 is 240, so you can see that the minigun is, or 280. The minigun is significantly lower DPS than just one of these revolvers, so we're going to ignore the minigun. Let's roll and pick up Cyclops Worm. Minigun is good for clearing large waves of enemies because it fires a lot of shots at different things, but for us we want to just have raw DPS, so it's pretty bad. Here we're going to look at the metal detector. Do we want this? I think we can afford the metal detector at this point. Percentage damage is our highest stat, and flat damage is our lowest, so reducing percentage damage hurts less than reducing flat damage would. You want to stay near those guys after you kill them to make sure you clear their summons right away. Especially important on melee characters, but important for every character. Also, trying not to kill 2 at once, like I just did there, can help a lot with not building up too many of the little shooty guys. I know all these enemies have, like, proper names, but I'm never gonna learn them, sorry. Alright, not the best wave. We only made 580, but still pretty good. Getting our dodge higher, though. Really liking that. Let's just recycle this. We're not building regeneration or lifesteal at this point. And here I am actually going to just take 12 dodge. That gets our dodge nearly to cap. so that's really good. Silver Bullet, especially notable on this character, of course, because elites are the most dangerous thing for you, and you are guaranteed 3 elites, so Silver Bullet is going to have quite a lot of utility. I'm going to buy the medical turret as well, because we have neither regeneration nor lifesteal, so having an alternate way to heal can be really nice. Let's get that, and then here, I guess Fairy will just give us enough regeneration to be useful, so I'm going to lock that in. Combine these and buy another revolver. Do I want 5 max HP? Our range is actually kind of suffering because I have the baby with a beard, so which is minus 50 range. So I think we're going to avoid the muscly dude. It's a pretty inefficient way to buy max HP if you just need it for the HP. Baby elephant, kind of interesting because every single enemy drops 3 materials, so I'm actually going to buy it more out of curiosity to see how efficient this is for DPS. Let's find this guy. This is another summoner, so it's going to be pretty dangerous for us. Need to generate some consumables because I tank to hit, or play around my medical turret. Actually, maybe this one's not the summoner. I think I'm thinking of a different one. This one just puts a lot of lasers on the ground, which can be hard to dodge, but not so bad for the Jack. There we go. So that elite we were able to kill because it wasn't a summoner. Apologies for lying. Gonna check what the DPS on that baby elephant is at the end of this wave as well. Because every time we kill an enemy, it generates a ton of materials to pick up, so the baby elephant should be going off quite a lot. Sure, the bonus attack speed is good, and the faster healing rate on our medical turret actually could matter a lot. We don't really care about reducing our engineering, though, so we'll grab 20 luck. 10 elemental damage actually gives me, like, an out to buy a flamethrower or something, because our elemental damage is actually higher than our range damage right now. I'm going to recycle the plastic explosive, though, and I'm going to recycle the pocket factory, even though we have decent engineering and whatever. I think it is late enough, and we have a recycling machine. The extra 100 materials are going to matter more. Let's buy this % damage, and we'll pick up Fairy, so now our HP regeneration is quite positive. We'll take Lure as well, and Cake. Yep, I'd love to get my max HP up just a little bit, so I don't just get one-shot by the bosses. I'm actually going to avoid Metal Detector. I don't think it'll have time to pay for itself. We'll grab a little more armor and dodge. Now our dodge is only 3 from the cap. And Obliterator is kind of interesting. So this is roughly every 2 seconds it does 700, so that's 350 a second. Compared to our weakest gun, which does 5 times 60, so the Obliterator is slightly better than our revolver. Obviously that math is, you know, a little bit fuzzy, but it's okay to just estimate these things. So I'm going to lock the Obliterator in. I think that will help us clear the bosses a little faster. We're going to buy this Lemonade and lock the Alloy as well. The Fairy is good because it solves all our passive regeneration problems, and combined with our very high consumable heal and our very decent and our medical turret with the extra attack speed, we shouldn't really have a problem maintaining our health. Maximum health is an issue just because I don't want to die to tanking just a couple hits in a row. And as you can see, damage is definitely becoming a concern, having just a little bit of trouble clearing all these enemies. Let's try to chase down these loot aliens if we can. They're hiding in the big pile of enemies, so we may not get them this wave. Come on, die already. Yeah, they keep hiding in the big crowd, so that's unfortunate. We found no pierce this level, which is why we're having so much trouble against crowds, because the revolver doesn't come with any piercing. Here I am going to pick up One more armor for -2 speed. Sure, our speed is really good. And yeah, sure, we can take this med kit. That is actually going to increase our regeneration by a lot. Here, I'm just going to pick up flat range damage. That's the thing we're missing the most of in order to do higher damage. And we can buy this alloy, sell this revolver for the obliterator, buy the Cyclops worm, and that's pretty much it. I'll reroll just to see what we could have bought. Nothing particularly valuable. Let's go to wave 20. Alright, so we're just gonna focus the octopus head guy. He's the more dangerous of the two. You typically want to focus him first. And if our damage is high enough to clear all the ads, then we'll be able to kill this, kill the boss pretty quickly, which we did. Basically, the goal here is just to have enough that you're not wasting too much time killing non-boss enemies. Alright, so that's the Jack. I think the key insights for him are you want harvesting because your economy is a little bad. You want to use the revolver or the laser pistol because sheer DPS is all that matters. And you want to basically just build only damage for the first 10 waves or so, and then you can try to keep yourself alive with some defensive stats for the later levels. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and as always, my friends, please leave a comment. Let me know what you like, what character you want to see next. It also helps YouTube's algorithm spread these videos to more people. And you can subscribe to my channel for more of this and other strategy game videos. Cheers, my friends, and I'll catch you next time. GG.